Today, we'll be creating the student login, which looks like this. It is now connected to the database, as it asks for credentials. Let's create a new project and name it as Old Student. Let's delete the comments. And let's import the following packages. This time, we will be adding an import.java.sql. This now, since we are connected to the database, we will execute queries and we will execute updates. All throughout the video, all of our class extends a JFrame and implements an action listener. And once again, let's have our override method. Let's create our private Derby connection Derby, our private connection con is equals to null, and private statement is equal to null. This is now for the connection of the database. Let's create our try block. And this time, we will be creating a new method called connect2db. And this method will be the method to connect us to our database. This is where the Derby connection and DB info class is coming from. Let's create our create GUI method, and once again, let's just copy our create GUI method. But before that, let's create our connect2db method. And let's just call the DB info class and its components. All throughout the system, the connect2db is also important, as it connects us to our database. Without the connect2db method, we can connect to our database, and our database will become useless. Let's copy our create GUI method. And let's just change the title. Let's create our add component method. And let's make the following variables. Once again, let's just copy the header. Let's create our center panel. And let's set its layout to null. Let's add the following labels. And let's create our components of the center panel. Let's add the following labels to our center panel. And let's just copy it and change some variables. Once again, let's take note of the warning that every time we do this, we should check all of the components and labels so that it won't repeat, and let's fix it bounce. Let's create our JText field where the user can input their following inputs. Let's add the JText field to the center panel. And let's create the password field. Let's create our buttons that is clicked every time the user has input credentials, and it will error every time that the user has not input the correct credentials. Let's set its foreground and let's set its backgrounds. Let's set its bounds. And let's add an action listener. Once again, let's copy and let's just change some of its parts. Let's fix its bounds. And let's add all the panels together in the main panel. The thing about this is that all the components are in the center panel and the header is just in the HP panel. This is done all throughout the system. Now let's create our action perform method. We have our cases. And let's create a method that will check from the database if the user has entered a username and password from the database. Now let's create a new method. All the algorithms for logging in will be placed here. Let's set its parameters to string uname and string password. Its parameters refers to the login, which is in the case method. Now let's create our SQL query. This is the most important in our system. Without this, we can't connect to the database and cannot access values from the database. Select asterisk means to select all from the DBL student info where the string uname and the string pass matches. This refers to the student's current username and password, and it will get all the values of that student in the DBL student info. Let's create a try catch. And let's run our rs is equal to derby.execute query. rs.next refers to if the username and password match from the database. This will now create a new JOption print that shows that the user has logged in successfully. And once it logged in successfully,